This is Hope Channel Zambia, media that changes lives. Thank you so much for joining us on our news bulletin. Stories making headlines. Friends of Bali endorse Bill 7 to celebrate President Hichilema's birthday. Mposha calls for urgent action to end plastic pollution in Zambia. UN extends Lieutenant General Humphreys Nyoni's tenure as MINUSCA Force Commander. Dr. Oliver Vulaya backs FRA's fair floor price of maize. Much more stories are coming up shortly.
Get ready to receive a faithful companion in a book titled The Vessel of Hope. This biblical book is an associate for inmates that will offer them a message of healing, purpose, and restoration. It sparks a light that shines even in the darkest places. The Vessel of Hope can be purchased and distributed by NGOs, churches, individuals, and organizations interested in social rehabilitation and prisoners' well-being. Order your copy today at 100 kwacha for a single copy and 700 kwacha for a set of 10 copies. Get in touch with our distributor, Deni Chileka, on 0977 473815 or 0966 473815. Remember, your purchase of the Vessel of Hope can be an inmate's turning point.
Thank you for joining us once again. Here are the details. The University of Zambia UNZA students have extended an invitation to Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tabo Kawana and Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts Permanent Secretary Chamba Fuma to attend President Hakainde Hichilema's birthday celebration at UNZA Great East Campus tonight. The event is part of UNZA's tradition to acknowledge the President's contribution to education sector, particularly in tertiary education. Students have lauded government's decision to restore and increase meal allowances for those on student loans and in public universities. They have also welcomed the continued provision of book allowances and the removal of registration fees linked to course selection, which has helped many make education more accessible to students from low-income families. UNZA students say the birthday celebration symbolizes their appreciation for the administration's ongoing efforts to enhance the education sector.
When you are putting it out there, you just say new allowance. There are a lot that has been done. And because of that, you just go to the University of Zambia. If you are not accommodated, you have accommodation allowance. You don't have books, there is book allowance. The registration fee has been paid for you. The school fees has been paid. Everything has been paid for you. We appreciate. The new allowance was increased. Understanding that things have adjusted. The way they were 2 years ago is not the way they are. And we are responding what is obtaining on the ground. The challenge we had that remained limited was the issue of accommodation. If you look at the University of Zambia's accommodation, it's limited and very minimal. Looking at the numbers of the students that are enrolled at the institution because of this free education, the accommodation has become scarce for students. And also, we went the same route again to try to the Republican president to ask if he can intervene in any way. We have hostels that have been installed for as long as, I think, since 2008. That's when the construction ceased. Those hostels have been there in that state. But after also crying now to the president and to the government, we got positive response. 2 months ago, the contractors were on site. As we speak right now, yes, the hostels are under construction. As we speak now, the hostels are under construction. We also have the Ministry of Sports and Youth. So we appreciate your ministry also. There were hostels that were earmarked for construction of the sports villa. Also, they were stored for some time. We want to invite you, PS, together with the PS Act. We are inviting you to come to the University of Zambia so that we can have a meal together. You are also the beneficiary of this because if we are happy as your children, we are your children. So you need to be there to support.
Therefore, we said let's mobilize ourselves to contribute little monies as monks and mummers so that we can have a feast at Monk Square This is the reason why you've seen that as UNZAS, with the Vice President and the Finance, have come here to pay a visit and invite you to this great feast that we're going to have to celebrate the birth of the Republican President.
Meanwhile, students from various public universities under the banner Friends of Badi have endorsed Bill 7 in celebration of President Hakainde Hichilema's birthday. Speaking on behalf of the group, Albert Munji-Longi stated that the Badi network supports the constitutional amendment, particularly Articles 47 and 68C, which aim to bring youth into parliament not merely as guests but as lawmakers. Munji-Longi emphasized that young people possess the capability to lead, but often lack access and the opportunity. Meanwhile, another member of the group, Fungai, highlighted that the endorsement of Bill 7 stems from its potential to address modern challenges, drive progress, and create opportunities for young people. Meanwhile, at the same event, United Party for National Development (UPND) Secretary General Betuke Imenda welcomed 4 senior members of the Chilanga Patriotic Front into the UPND, presenting their defection as a symbolic gift for President Hichilema's birthday celebration.
Old and long overdue to bring our young people into the heart of decision making. A legislative step that opens the doors of parliament to our youth and invites not as guests but as equals. It offers a framework to reserve seats for young representatives, to establish pathways for youth advisory councils, and to ensure equitable participation for those under 35 years. What they lack is not capability, but access. We must strong treating youth participation as a privilege. Massive. It is a right, a democratic right, a human right, and it is time we honored it. So I call on lawmakers across all lines and ideologies to do what is just, not just what is easy. Let us pass Article 47(2)(b) and Article 68(c), Bill number 7, 2025 of the laws of Zambia. And in so doing, so do declare to the youth of this country, we see you, we hear you, and we trust you. Let this sitting parliament be remembered as the one that didn't just talk about youth inclusion, but legislated into existence, not in beginning, into tangible reality. The future is not something we prepare for the youth. The future is what we prepare with the youth.
The meal allowances, student loans that have paid for our bills, allowing us to be in highly esteemed institutions, young people and not the leaders of tomorrow. They should lead today. If they are old enough to serve in the military, start a family or pay taxes, then surely they are old enough to help shape the laws that govern us.
Sure.
Including youth in parliament is not a favor, it is a necessity. I therefore challenge all the youth across this country to arise and ensure that this bill is passed. I will repeat that. I therefore challenge all the youth in this country to arise and ensure that this bill is passed.
Today is a special day. Our president was born this day many years ago. Perhaps to make him realize we recognize and love him, let us sing a happy birthday for him. Happy birthday to you. Your gifts. Here are the new members in your party who recognize the efforts that you are making for them.
The Kumawa Development Coalition, Umozi Kumawa, has called on the government to withdraw Bill 7, citing a lack of consultation with traditional leaders and key stakeholders. Coalition spokesperson Chanoda Ngwira warns that the proposed amendment poses a threat to democratic values and the principles of local governance. He emphasized that the coalition stands with other sectors opposing the bill, pointing to concerns over transparency and the absence of meaningful engagement in the legislative process.
As Umozi Kumawa, we want to state here and now that we stand in solidarity with the Nkosi Yamankosi, His Royal Highness Paramount Chief Mpezeni, in expressing our grave concerns regards the animal in the house, which is Bill number 7, constitutional amendments under Bill number 7. We agree with our Paramount Chief that indeed there's been no full consultation or meaningful involvement of stakeholders, including the chiefs. And just like he has expressed concerns, we join him as a pressure group in saying there has been no transparency, there's been no consensus in terms of this bill number 7. And it is clear that the Zambian people have expressed their concerns, and starting from the church, the traditional leadership, NGOs, talk of the Law Association of Zambia, and many other stakeholders, they have actually protested and they have objected, this bill number 7.
The Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, Minister of Green Economy and Environment Mike Mposha, has emphasized the urgent need to tackle plastic pollution as the country prepares to commemorate World Environment Day tomorrow, June 5th. Speaking during a cleanup exercise in Kamanga ahead of the global event, the minister highlighted the dangers of plastic waste, describing it as a major environmental threat that affects communities in Zambia and beyond. Mr. Mposha noted that improperly discarded plastics can clog drainage systems, contributing to flooding in Lusaka. He also warned that plastic waste, when burnt, releases toxic fumes that pollute the air, posing serious health risks. The minister further explained that the government, under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, is working on policies aimed at reducing and eliminating plastics that are easily disposed of in the environment. Mr. Mposha has further urged communities to take responsibility for proper waste disposal and refrain from hiring unregistered garbage collectors who often dump waste in unauthorized locations. With the World Environment Day's theme this year being Ending Plastic Pollution, Zambia has localized the message, reinforcing the urgency for collective action to eliminate plastic waste and protect the environment.
One of the biggest challenges that we have is that of plastic pollution world over. And this is why the theme for this year's World Environment Day is ending plastic pollution. So the whole world tomorrow will be celebrating World Environment Day, like I said, under this theme of ending plastic pollution. Here in Zambia, we have localized this theme to say ending plastic pollution, a call to action. We must ensure that the plastics, the plastic bottles that are being littered everywhere must be eliminated. And you can imagine that this is not a problem that is just peculiar to Kamanga compound or Chakunkula ward. It's a problem that is affecting the whole world. Because just a small plastic bottle, if disposed carelessly, can end up killing a big animal like an elephant. if it just swallowed that bottle, the plastic bottle. These plastics that we throw around, and when they start burning, they pollute our air, and we can all end up choking because of the dangerous smoke that comes from the plastics. Therefore, it is important that we all come together to ensure that we eliminate the plastic pollution, we clean our surroundings, our environment.
Just now we take a break, we'll be right back.
Faithful companion in a book titled The Vessel of Hope. This biblical book is an associate for inmates that will offer them a message of healing, purpose, and restoration. It sparks a light that shines even in the darkest places. The Vessel of Hope can be purchased and distributed by NGOs, churches, individuals, and organizations interested in social rehabilitation and prisoners' well-being. Order your copy today at 100 kwacha for a single copy and 700 kwacha for a set of 10 copies. Get in touch with our distributor Denny Chileka on 0977 473815 or 0966 473815. Remember, your purchase of the Vessel of Hope can be an inmate's turning point.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. As the sun rises, so do we. It's time to power your life and say goodbye to blackouts with a new Topstar solar solution, the H50 hybrid system. Enjoy a safe and reliable solar solution at home or your business with the Topstar hybrid inverter, lithium battery, and 550-watt solar panels. Experience a peace of mind with reduced electricity bills, long warranty of up to 5 years with free installation. For more information, call or WhatsApp now on 0779 04 2000, 0779 04 2000, or visit our Facebook page at Topstar. Also pay us a visit at our head office next to Arcade Shopping Mall. Topstar Solar. Power your life.
Thank you for still staying with us. We continue with the rest of the news. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has extended the contract of Lieutenant General Humphrey Nyoni as Force Commander for the United Nations Multi-Dimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in the Central African Republic, MINUSCA, for another year. This marks the second extension for Lieutenant General Nyoni, reaffirming the UN's confidence in his leadership and Zambia's contribution to global peacemaking efforts. Lieutenant General, a senior officer in the Zambia Army, was first appointed as MINUSCA Force Commander on May 15, 2023. At the time, he held the rank of Brigadier General and served as Commandant of the Defense Services Command and Staff College in Lusaka. In a statement, Minister of Defense Ambrose Lufuma said the appointment of Lieutenant General Nyoni led to his promotion to Lieutenant General by President Hakainde Hichilema. Mr. Lufuma has described the extension as a reflection of the professionalism and dedication of Zambia's military personnel, both at home and abroad. Climate smart agriculture expert Dr. Oliver Bulaya has endorsed the fair floor price of maize set by government through the Food Reserve Agency (FRA). Dr. Bulaya highlighted that the pricing strategy helps stabilize maize prices, ensuring millers can purchase the staple food at competitive rates that accurately reflect input costs and consumer price of mealie meal. He further noted that the cost of agricultural imports, including fertilizers and seeds, has remained stable over the past 2 seasons, contributing to a more predictable farming environment. Dr. Bulaya also emphasized that this year's anticipated bumper harvest could lead to lower commodity prices, benefiting both farmers and consumers alike.
The announcement, by the Food Reserve Agency over the cost of maize, which is the floor price that has been pegged at 340, is cost effective in the sense that we are looking at the prevailing market, trends, exacerbated, by higher production of maize, and also there are issues of supply and demand that are involved in terms of pegging the prices of any commodity. We are looking also at issues of the economic, fundamentals that are strong, this time around in terms of enhanced, economic, performance, of our country in the last, in this, quarter. And I think it is very important to look at all these areas that are very pertinent in terms of ensuring that the government can buy this commodity from our smallholder farmers to ensure that they sell the commodities at a price that is cost, effective. And looking into consideration that the government is been subsidizing many of our farmers, through FISIP. And in this case, also the private sector have their own floor price. In certain parts of the country, they can buy at higher prices, and in certain parts of the country at lower prices. But we call them to buy at cost-effective prices to ensure that our farmers can put money back into sustainable agricultural advancements, and this is good for our country. And to those that are taking advantage of our farmers, these briefcase buyers, I think this is not good for our country, and it's not good for the government agenda in terms of increasing production and productivity, because our farmers will fail to put their resources back to good use.
And the Millers Association of Zambia, MAZ, has described as fair the prices of maize set by the Food Reserve Agency, FRA. Speaking shortly after FRA announced the maize floor price for 2025 yesterday, MAZ President Andrew Chintala said the price is fair considering the number of stakeholders involved in the consultative process. Mr. Chintala said the price is balanced to benefit consumers of the finished product as well as the farmers. Described the outcome as generally acceptable on the market.
I think the price that FRA has announced is a fair price. If you were to look at all the stakeholders involved, obviously the margins that FRA has talked about in terms of what has constituted the price that they've announced, I think is balanced in the sense that they took into account the cost of maize production. And I think the board chair also emphasized on the point of trying to strike a balance in terms of the prices for the finished product, which I think, in my view, is very fair in as far as the consumers of the finished product are concerned, as well as the farmers. So, in essence, I think these are the prices that obviously are expected on the market. So, what is also important to note, colleagues, is that they've announced that they're only going to buy, I think for the start, or let me just put it that way, this is what is in the yellow book. They're only going to buy 543,000 metric tons out of the 3,655,000. So that leaves us with 1.1 plus million metric tons as private sector. So it is a good price, but obviously I would like also to take advantage of this and mention this is not a floor price. I've already started receiving messages, people suggesting that prices have to be adjusted. No. This is the FRA price, and also us as millers, we've got different prices depending on where we are buying. So it's a fair price to put it that way.
Well, that story closes our bulletin, but before we go, here are stories that made headlines. Friends of Bali endorse Bill 7 to celebrate President Hichilema's birthday. Mposha calls for urgent action to end plastic pollution in Zambia. UN extends Lieutenant General Humphrey Nyoni's tenure as MINUSCA Force Commander, and Dr. Oliver Bulaya backs FRA's fair floor price of maize. On behalf of the entire production team and crew, my name is Mwene Muyanga. Pleasant viewing.